in this
I'm sorry.
meeting for the Facilities and Technology Committee on Wednesday, September 11th at whatever time it is, 5:34 p.m. Roll call, gonna have Jeffrey, Patrick, myself, and Ellen. We have a quorum, and you'll have all the other attendees, please. And before we go too far, there's a recommendation, I think it's warranted. On today, September 11th, I think we have a quick moment of silence in remembrance for all those that lost their lives and their families on September 11th. Okay, thank you, appreciate that. All right, I'd like to make a motion for approval of the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any questions? Any abstentions? Motion passed. I'd like to make a motion for approval of the minutes. Anyone?
Second.
Any questions? No? Okay. Any abstentions? Any rejections? No? Hearing none, motion passed. Public participation. Josh, anybody on the line?
Negative.
All right, thank you. We can skip that part. And we'll jump right into it. Rachel?
Alrighty,
Technology.
social media updates. Alright, so this month I did a little bit of the school Facebook pages as well as the Parent Square reach. Thought it would be kind of nice to see where the schools are at, how we're reaching our parents and guardians. So if you take a quick look at these, the engagement is up for almost, I think, every Facebook page for each one of the schools, including the district page. As well as the reach, you can see that there's 0 failed emails, 0 failed text messages, which means that we are, hopefully reaching all of our parents. We don't have any dead phone numbers, dead emails, anything like that. So really, really good responses. And then you can also see, I included in there, just from a technology standpoint, the technology forms that were passed out through Parent Square for parents to sign. And you can kind of see how those numbers are doing. They have gotten lower because parents are continuing to fill out forms, which is great, and I've been sending reminders as well. But yeah. So good engagement, good responses, we're getting forms signed and filled out. Are there any questions?
Already done?
Okay,
That was your whole section here?
that was social media, yeah,
Okay.
if there's any specific questions, I can certainly.
Nope. Move on to number 2, tech.
Alright, so, device breakdown. You can see here I did the THS MacBooks and the TMS Chromebooks of the devices that were lost and or not returned to us at the end of the school year last year. That's not to say that the student didn't show up on the first day of school and say, oh, just kidding, I kept it over the summer even though I was asked to turn it in and I have it now. We did get several of those. And then they handed it in to be updated and were returned to the student. This year, 12th grade, we had only 8 that didn't come back to us, which is a huge reduction from what it was last year. So really, really getting better with these numbers and getting the students to turn their devices back in. Any questions on that?
Good, shoot.
What is the recourse that we take? I mean, do we not issue a device if they kept one in 9th grade, they come back for 10th? I mean, I assume that was great to see that the 12th grade one only being 8. That's fantastic, nice work. But 173 is that's a large dollar amount of devices. So I was wondering how do we track that somebody comes in, like you said, they come in from 9th grade from the summer, they come in, oh, here's my laptop and technology reimages it and does it, but what's that intermediate step look like? How do we prevent ourselves from giving somebody a second device? And if they lost it, are we charging them for it, things like that? Like, how does that work?
So if they did not return a device, we have it recorded and bills will be going out. But as you all know, it's that gray area where we have an obligation to provide them with a device. So in the high school, we've been handing out Chromebooks. Depending on the student, sometimes it's on a loaner basis, just if it's a chronic issue of things not getting returned. Some students will take out a loaner daily, and then others will just get a Chromebook rather than a MacBook until payment is received for the one that they lost.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's a $300 device instead of a $1,000 device, so.
Exactly, but like I said, it's that gray area where we still have that obligation to provide them with something.
And I did bring that up on your behalf at the policy committee, so it will be taken up for you,
Good,
like we talked about.
yeah,
So, we haven't
awesome,
forgotten you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And if I need to give any input into that, please let me know.
Great. And then TMS, I assume it's similar.
Yes,
How about it's the 8th graders at TMS, right? Because those are the devices.
right.
Is there a mechanism in place to capture that? Like you don't get a new, like when you go from 8th to 9th, we're changing device types. Do we have a method to capture that?
So we do have recorded who didn't turn it in 8th grade, and then.
Actually, it looks like
take-
6th grade was the biggest culprit.
Well,
Yeah.
but 8th grade's the one that you have no.
Right, and
to
then we're
Rachel's
switching
point, they're
schools.
switching schools.
So yeah, we take that into consideration as well as students who had excessive damages in 8th grade, because that is in the contract too, of if you have excessive damage in middle school, you lose your right to a MacBook in high school.
Educationally, can they get the work done on a Chromebook if the push comes to shove?
Absolutely, we're a Google district, we still push out all of our stuff through Google Classroom. There are certain instances, say a kid is in like a Photoshop class or something and needs the Adobe or
Sure.
the like Photoshop and all that, that will make accommodations for. We have devices that get loaned out in that class for those particular students.
Okay, great, thank you.
So that's it for my breakdown. And then as for the protection plan, we're at about $5,500, so not as high as we were last year, but they still have until the end of this month. And I'm still getting, people enrolling daily. So we still have a little bit of time. And I think last year I actually extended it till the end of October as well. So if we see that, numbers are still a little low, I can certainly extend that deadline again to give people a chance to enroll.
I would assume with the caveat, no pre-existing damage, right? You can't.
Yeah,
And
I mean, we have to give some sort of window for them to enroll just because it went out kind of late, unfortunately. But yeah,
Your parents wear electronic forms for the device distribution, and the being able to pay online in a couple clicks was awesome.
awesome, thank you.
Very easy.
Yeah.
Really improved over last year. So
Yeah,
nice work.
I think reducing the amount of forms going out and things of that sort, even the high school decided to package theirs with their student handbook, so it was like a one-stop shop type of thing. It really did help with the numbers this year.
It's nice because you can go back, anybody who hasn't seen it, you can go back and see it. Like,
Right.
You can go see, I did fill it out or I didn't.
Right.
So very helpful.
Any other questions?
Maybe one thing for next year, maybe?
Sure.
I mean, it looks like we could possibly extend through October. Maybe next year we put a little incentive. You're gonna pay X if you pay by the end of September, and if you, at the end of October, you're gonna pay a little bit more, and maybe it gives people a little bit more incentive to pay earlier.
Okay,
Just an
It's a good
idea for
idea.
next year,
it's a good idea.
throw it out there.
I also, I've seen other districts, most of them use a company, but they'll do like a open enrollment mid-year. It's an idea I was tossing around, but then you get into that fine line of no pre-existing.
Yeah, no pre-existing damage.
So that one gets a little, there's a gray area there, but it is an idea to try to increase enrollment.
I'm gonna take my liberty to express a little frustration, not necessarily on your part, and this may not be the proper forum, but I'm finding that I'm not a Mac guy. I've been stuck in the corporate world and in the PC world. So when my kids come home with a Mac, I struggle. Okay? And my older daughter was a little bit more computer savvy. She caught on to the Mac pretty quick. My younger one, not so much. I'm finding out that she knows very little about how to use a Mac outside of the Google world.
Yeah.
And I think Macs are dominant in college. Okay, they're not 100%, but they're pretty strong. And I think we're not doing our kids a good justice on showing the kids junior, senior year, the power of a MacBook and how to use it outside of the Google Doc world. Just downloading and saving a file. You know, I never knew there was a little smiley face to find your files. I didn't know about it. So it's hard, and the kids don't know either. So maybe for curriculum or, in SICK, we can maybe bring something in the future on showing these kids how to use the MacBook outside of Google Docs. Because I know we got it pretty locked down. I can't even add anything to this tablet I got. It's pretty secure.
Wow.
But kind of like, where we talked about, giving more responsibility with cell phones as they get older. Maybe we get to that point sometime. But I think we should teach these kids a little bit more on how to use a Mac.
I like that idea.
Maybe
Yeah.
Mr. Wilson or somebody, we can bring it up in SICK and put it on the radar.
Absolutely, that's a great idea. I know last year that our representative from Apple was working continually with the teachers and workshops and different professional learning opportunities to enhance their comfort level so that they could then share it with the students. And I know she's still working with them now. We just had one of her APL updates, which is great, at the different things they're doing. For example, today's update was all about GarageBand and how it's integrated now with our CTE courses in terms of not only building the guitar, but then using it with the GarageBand features on Apple. But I totally agree with you. I think we could definitely enhance those opportunities to not just make it a device where we could access Google, but use the device what it was intended for and the power of it. I think that's a great point, and I can just tell you at least it has started.
Yeah.
It is not where it should be, but it has started, and we can continue that.
Okay, sounds good. Any other questions? Go ahead.
Slightly off topic, but it's tech related. In the website, how are we doing with getting the rest of the pages converted? I noticed that the main site's cool, but
Yeah.
the school sites are still pointing to the old one. Is that the vendor doing that, or are we trying to handle it internally, or?
It's us. So they ported over everything. So like I have all of our like documents and things like that sitting on those websites. They're just not published.
Yeah, you have plenty
so-
going on at the moment, but
Yeah.
I just wasn't
yeah.
sure if we had to push a vendor or somebody who, it looks great. I just, when I click the schools looking for staff this year, I'm like, oh, it's
Yeah.
the old site. And
They
they're
did
not there.
port everything over. It was an even longer process to sit there and say, I want this moved here, I want that moved there. We ended up, even with the district site, just being like, just give it to me, I'll do the click myself type of thing. So, yeah, it's
Work in progress.
it's a work in progress, yeah.
Oh, we'll check in with
Start
you
of
next
school's
month.
been
Oh, I'm sure.
a
That's
monster.
no big deal. Thank you for the update.
No problem. Any
Right,
other
very good.
questions?
Good.
All right. Move on to facilities, and Mr. Pergola.
Yes, just take one, pass them down, it's just an updated, like, where we are with different things.
It's just one sheet.
Yeah, one sheet,
Double-sided.
double-sided, just one line on the back, I think. So it's a typical of, the sheet I've been using just to kind of keep things up to where we are on it. If you take a look at it, you'll see that the bold to the right-hand side is stuff that has been updated since our last meeting. And if you just, I'll let you absorb it for a minute. Again, we're still working off of last year's capital, 23-24 capital projects on the upper part of this. So the emergency lighting upgrade is complete at both schools. The window covering, I didn't highlight it because it was 95% complete last time, so it was highlighted on the last one, but that's also been there. We have, I think, 3 classrooms that need a little bit of attention. One of them had a small tear in it, and but those came out nice. If anybody's in it has seen them, they come out really good. I think everybody's happy with those. If you go down a little bit to the second section here, you can see where we got Vogel Wetmore and our whole indoor air quality / HVAC grant. Again, we're re-evaluating those things in the red that we did not complete last year, and we're looking at, what are we going to do with it? Are we going to attack other issues? Are we going to hold it? Are we going to fix things as they come up? So those in the red are what that looks like. TMS, it says active on the exit sign upgrade. It's not 100% complete. That's why it's still active. He had a couple of the area of refuge that he installed. In fact, it may be today complete. I know he had to go back. So that might be up to date today. If you look down next to Southwest, the engineering of our lock foyer, we're in design stage right now. I talked to the architect today. He's going to be giving us some very rough drawings on a couple of options we have for the lock foyer. That's kind of a different entrance way there than other schools where you enter into the nurse's station to the left and then the offices to the right. So he wants to give us a couple different ways we can secure it, but it's not as cut and dry as the other ones. First of all, it's smaller, but the way the doors are and the way the windows are, it may make it a little bit more actually complex than the other ones, even though it's smaller. So I'm waiting for some designs from him on that. The resurface of the sidewalks, again, we didn't resurface, we replaced them. That was that terminology was in there, but we replaced a bunch of them. That is complete. That's not highlighted, so I won't talk about it. We did that last time. Torrington lock foyer. So we started at the end of summer. We were able to get a good piece of steel up in the air where this lock foyer is going to be assembled underneath it. Now it's a matter of finding time to get in there. The windows are ordered. If we get a day here between now and Christmas break and material has arrived, we have a couple of holidays. If they can get in there and get a little bit done, then we're going to try to. If not, the next phase will happen at Christmas break. We'll be in there trying to get as much done as possible. I didn't nail them down if we would be complete. I doubt that we would, just because of the different elements that have to go in there between the low voltage wiring and the panic bars and some electrical that's got to be done. But we usually, last time we got a very good chunk of it done during that amount of time. Again, I haven't done anything with the ADA upgrades. We did talk about us and looking into that. If you go down to other projects, these are some of the larger things that we're working on. Last meeting, we went over the updated timeline of the roof for the TMS. We're on schedule with that. I believe the next phase of that, I think we talked about it last time, is going to be the plan and spec. And then after that, we'll be out to bid, hopefully right after the new year, I would think. The retro commission is what we had. We had the presentation last time. We signed off on it. We're going to have a kickoff meeting September 16th where we're going to be going out looking at the job. We have our electrician going to go out there, who's going to do some just to get an overview of how we're going to attack this job. So looking forward to that thing to get going after September 16th, and I'll have a little bit more better schedule. Still looking to complete this in the spring. They don't see any reason why this couldn't be completed by the spring, but that's probably our end date. The TMS lock forward, we're calling it complete. We finished up with the with the low voltage, the panic bars installed. Everything is complete as it is. Where the girls sit in the front has been buttoned up as far as the wiring and any connections they need in front, so we're all set with that. And the sped playground is also complete.
Kids love it.
Yeah,
Love
working out
it.
good? Good,
Oh, yeah,
good.
really, really well.
Yeah, it worked out very well with our sidewalk replacement. We were able to tie that into the playground back there just because it had to be done. So everything looks new in that area, so I'm glad it landed at the same time, or else we would have had a not very nice sidewalk to get to the playground, but it's all complete, so. And that's where we stand on facilities. Any questions?
The indoor air quality one says break at the end. Is that just, are we planning to do any of them over a break, or?
Where do I have that? Tell me what that is.
The very lower right-hand corner says the numbers you got, that we were all.
No, that was,
Yeah, it says, Russell Dawson,
No.
440.
features 800 break. No, that looks like a typo. That doesn't.
We have no immediate, currently, we're still holding on the grant, however the grants and things.
So the indoor air quality is like this, we have, Russell Dawson gave us a price to do an individual one, and that would be Vogel. And they were the low bid on that. It's just a matter of me buttoning up with them exactly what we're looking for on that. So I spoke to them last week, and we're gonna meet tentatively the end of next week with a Zoom call just to go over some details on that.
Thank you very much.
And that's the 25, so the new rule, because they've changed the laws with this, we have to have 25% done by January 1st. So we should be at least initiated and things rolling. It might not be complete by that,
But
but
we'll meet the requirement.
we'll meet the requirements.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, any questions? None? Siemens? Any update on the Siemens, or was that kinda included when you spoke?
That's the retro commission.
Yeah, there's nothing, you don't wanna elaborate on it at all?
Nothing to elaborate. I'll let you know after the 16th, we have our kickoff meeting, so
Okay.
we're,
Alright, excellent. Any other questions? Barring none, topics for future meetings? Stay with the same outline is good? Anybody wanna add or delete?
Just, at some point, we'll decide what to do with, how to reallocate some of the 23-24. I don't wanna call it surplus, but 23-24
Yeah.
unused or
Yes.
savings into a 24-25 capital project, right?
and our 24-25 capital projects, again, there's some of them on there that we reevaluating to look what we want, where we wanna go with that money next.
Sure. And I would assume we would try and hit something that qualified for CGNS.
Yeah, and that would be,
That would be the lot.
it would be, yes.
Does this list also include what we did submit for 24-25?
No,
No, this is the previous list.
no,
So that list was still kind of in limbo, obviously, for obvious reasons.
Correct.
We could do a lot of reimbursable work with 300,000 even. You can do $1.2 million worth of work with 300,000 available.
Would it be too much to say, hey, let's put the 24-25 stuff on this list just so we can monitor it?
I think, I agree, I think,
oh yeah, I just could've printed, I could've printed that out
I
to
think
go
at
with
the
it, if
next
that's what
meeting,
you
we
want.
could bring that to the table and
Yeah.
start looking at that as well.
Anything complete, let's clear it off, right? We don't really need that on there anymore.
Yep.
Let's fill it in with 24-25 that we wanted to do, but we
Okay.
can't for obvious reasons, but
Yep.
let's keep it on the list and go from there.
I think it's a great idea.
Got it.
All right, comments for the good of the order. Start with you, Mr. Putney.
Thanks, guys. I'm glad everything went well, smooth couple weeks of school. So, appreciate the effort.
Nope, good meeting, thank you.
Good meeting.
Very informative, thank you.
To give a shout out to our custodial folks for all the work they did over the summer, especially at Vogel Wetmore, where we had summer school and you couldn't even tell by the time school started. Things were beautiful. And of course, our tech folks too, everything was, at least at Vogel Wetmore, ready to go, start the year, so thank you all.
Yeah, shout out to the team. They've been very, 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 very busy. So I appreciate everything they do.
All set.
Same thing, the team worked very well this summer. Everybody seemed to come together, and we worked on some special projects that were able to kind of help each school out, so we spread it out quite a bit, and everybody did a great job, but good meeting.
Yeah, good meeting.
Nothing? Alright, I don't really have much to say, but I do wanna take note, Peter sent out an email today, I hope everybody got it. He's looking for some help and support for, let's mention it.
Hartford Hospital, which is Cheryl Hungerford now, is doing a medical mission, November 2nd at Volvo Wetmore. They did it at Co-Park last year, and it's haircuts, medical appointments. They're prepared to take you to the ER if you need to, and they usually take a few. Food handouts, a bunch of local businesses or community partners and things are gonna be there as well, so lots of good stuff. Shoes. I didn't sign, you can sign up to be a foot washer, right?
Podiatrist,
But we need
Yeah,
people,
thank
it's my
you.
building, I gotta be the tour guide, so, but I
So
think it's
kind of
a
an all
great-
hands on deck type of thing.
Yeah, whoever, they're expecting probably close to 700 people coming to partake in the one day. So it's
And what was
really,
the date of
they-
that?
they do it in probably
November
5 or 6
2nd.
places in the state throughout the year.
November 2nd, you said?
November 2nd, and it starts at 7 in the morning and goes till 5 or 6 at night. So, if you have any questions, you can ask me, and if I don't know the answers, I'll check with the people from Hartford Hospital have come by twice. They're gonna come another 1 or 2 times to set everything up. They've got a great crew and just good people doing good things, so.
Alright, we'll keep mentioning that throughout the next couple meetings, so
Great.
see if we can get some support.
Great.
Motion to adjourn,
So moved.
Okay.
alright? All in favor?
Aye.
Alright.
6 o'clock.